So I had this inspiration to record a video for you, and I wasn't even sure why. I wasn't even sure exactly who this video was for, but it was just really clear that I needed to record it. I want to share with you a little bit about the change that I want to see in the world, one of the changes. So to share about that, first a little story. Growing up, I lived in a house that felt kind of like a zoo, and let me explain that. I have five older siblings and two younger siblings, so there's a lot of us. So there was just a lot of kids, a lot going on. It was amazing. I had an amazing childhood. We would do things like go on these awesome camping adventures where we would make our own fire, get our own water, cook ramen over the fire, play games by flashlight. It was amazing. We would always have so many people around to play games with whenever growing up. And it was just, I have amazing siblings. It was a wonderful childhood. And it was also incredibly chaotic, if you can imagine all the animals in a zoo. That's what it felt like. And I didn't know that I had a sensitive nervous system. I had no language for this. There was no understanding of it. So little me in this chaotic environment, I didn't really have tools for how to navigate this experience. And although it was such an adventure-filled childhood and just really pretty magical, it was also really challenging. And later on in my early teenage years and in my 20s, the coping mechanisms I had created unknowingly to deal with an overwhelm in my environment with a sensitive nervous system sort of snowballed into anxiety disorders, and it became really limiting. I was really trapped in my life in OCD and with an eating disorder. And I didn't really have the tools, so those continued to grow bigger and stronger and more limiting. Unfortunately, I was able to recover and heal and expand and feel now really free in my life, really connected to myself, and really living a life that is true for me, joyful for me, full of love and presence. Oh my gosh, to just be able to be present is such a blessing, because if you're someone who's experienced anxiety, you know that it's very hard to be present, to make memories. You're so here. It's all what's happening up here. And the change that I want to see for the world is a world where we get the chance to understand this emotional experience that we're having, this nervous system experience. I see in our world that we're moving too fast, way too fast. And you would think, even with a pandemic and the slowdown, that we would slow down, but we're not. It's way too fast. And we're ignoring our emotions. I see this over and over from so many people in my life, in the world, just ignoring the emotional experience. It's not supported in our Western culture to really explore that. And especially for people like me, for the 20% of the population that have a highly sensitive nervous system, this is absolutely the change I want to see. We don't get to heal our trauma in our culture often. It goes unhealed and it turns into anxiety disorders or hurtful acts against someone else, or depression, or physical manifestations like different diseases, different physical disorders, even cancer, things like stress from the trauma that creates stress-related illnesses. We don't get to discover our unique selves because we're going too fast. And when we have all this emotion, unfelt, manifesting in unhelpful ways in our body, we really miss out on what's underneath. That's our true self, underneath all of that. And what I know is that there's magic in each and every person. There's something unique. We're all this unique puzzle piece with different desires, different dreams, different gifts, And there's a reason that we were all gifted what we were or made the way we were. There's a reason for it. It's not random and it's not coincidence. But when we're moving so fast and we're not processing the emotion, especially if you're someone who is highly sensitive and who feels things deeply and who processes deeply, then we miss out and the world misses out on all of that. So I have a vision for the world that we get to relearn what it means to be sensitive. Why is that a negative word? Is it a negative word for you? I invite you into considering, how do you define sensitive? Do you see it in a positive way? I know I do now, but I didn't before. And I'm still learning how to embrace all the ways that I am sensitive, and that is part of what the gifts are that I was given, how that is integral and so necessary in the things that I'm meant to share and the things that I'm meant to do in this world. So I invite you into that consideration, that reflection. How do you define sensitive? Where did you learn that? What did you learn from your parents, your culture, your community about what it means to be sensitive? And to just explore, is that true to you? Does that feel like the true definition? I have a vision where we, in our culture, embrace therapy and we embrace coaching and healing work. And rather than see it as something that you do only if you have a problem, a serious problem, or you talk about it in a quiet way, or you feel embarrassed to share about it, my vision is a world in which it is celebrated and revered as those that are brave and those that are willing to go within, those that are courageous and those that are awake and aware, realize, yes, of course, I would have therapy or coaching or do healing work. Of course, I'm human. I'm having a human experience full of emotion, full of trauma, big and little, that I might not even be aware of. Of course, that's my vision and that is my vision for the world. And is a bigger vision that we change systematically our mental health care system so that it can be supportive for everyone to thrive, that our minds are so determining our experience of the world, and yet we set that to the side. We focus on physical health and not mental health and emotional health and spiritual health, and they're so important. The physical is actually the last, and that's the only thing that we really look up to as accomplishing in our culture. Thank you so much, and if you're still here, thank you for watching, and I look forward to sharing more with you.